So Krishna has many energies, but it's described of all the energies. He has many pleasures. His pleasure potency is very vast. But the prema, that is the crest jewel. So that personification of prema, of pure love, is Srimati Radharani. She alone possesses the highest complete manifestation of pure love. She is the embodiment of that pure love. So it's not possible to discuss or understand until one gets to Siddha Deho. Then you can begin to appreciate Radha Krishna. Before then we can get just like a drop from the ocean. Even that drop is overwhelming. But it is very difficult to understand. So therefore, we should first of all understand our position in this material world, as was so nicely explained here, how we are wandering from body to body, how our different desires. Now if we purify our desires, follow in the footsteps of the pure Vrindavan devotees, then we can achieve the highest perfection of life. It is one of the goals to be able to understand what is the real meaning of Radha Krishna worship, what is the real meaning of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. It is not something that can be academically immediately understood. Even the descriptions are not equivalent to the full understanding. They are an explanation to give an indication what is the purpose, what is the meaning. But the actual understanding, it's only realized. It's not something which we can contain in words or in our mind. It is something which is realized by the pure, fully developed soul. Just like when Ramananda Rai and Lord Chaitanya are discussing, so many scholars we gave in India. There was one Christian priest who wanted to write a review on Chaitanya Charitamrita. Actually what happened was, we wanted to give Chaitanya Charitamrita to be reviewed, so we gave it to the biggest newspaper there. So they started doing a funny business. So what they did is they said, all right, they called the biggest Christian scholar and said, we'd like you to review this book. So then we gave him the Adi Lila 1 and Antya Lila 5. Alright, do your review. He read the book 5 times for 3 months. And he said that, I can't review it. He said, this goes into something which is beyond me. And he said a lot of other things, but practically he was transformed to some extent to devotee, but it was beyond him. That if he gave the review, it would be an expose on other religions. That was his point. But what this is discussing goes so far beyond that as a Christian priest, if he were to actually give a proper review, he would be excommunicated. That was the basic thing that he was saying. So the point is that we have to understand our position and very carefully serve and develop this selflessness. Actually, I'm still recovering from a very big shock I got yesterday. A very innocent thought that today being Radharani's appearance day, that yesterday was the day before, customer day before you have some function. Alright, so and Chaitanya Lila Radha came as Gadadhara and Vrishabhanu came as Sundarik Vidyanidhi. So I described how they first met, how it was very wonderful that Pundarik, who was Vrishabhanu, became the guru of Radharani, of Gadadhara in Chaitanya Lila. I simply explained that Lord Chaitanya was Radha Krishna combined to become Lord Chaitanya Maharaj, and his esoteric purpose of coming. And then some devotee with a Brahmin said at the end of the class, he said that if Krishna is the Paramatma, then why does he have to take the mood of the devotee to understand what the devotee is thinking, to understand what Radharani is thinking? And that question is so far off. That question has got so many aparadas and rasavasanas that I still haven't recovered. And how a devotee, it was an innocent question, no doubt, but it just completely. Because first of all, we're discussing here, Radharani had nothing to do. First of all, the if Krishna is the Paramatma. Completely of what if Krishna was the Paramatma. Why if? You're doubting that Krishna is the Paramatma. It's one thing if there's some other person. First is if Krishna was the Paramatma. The Krishna aparat. Then the second thing was that, then why does he have to take the mood of Radharani to understand what her mind is? Paramatma is in the conditioned soul's heart. That equated Radharani to a conditioned soul. Having a material body, and that Krishna was her Paramatma. So why Krishna can't know her mind? There was a Radha aparat. And then the whole thing was a rasa body. So then I thought that I can't, this has taught me that I should never explain anymore, anything that's a little bit esoteric, because then some devotee very innocently, would just get involved in some kind of doubt and commit offenses. The Krishna in Vaikuntha, he's the Supreme Narayana. There he knows everything that's going on. But he takes a different mood in Goloka. That is his opulence. Just like in the courtroom, the high court judge is completely in control of everything. But when he goes home, he allows his wife to control him. That doesn't mean that he's any less. Radharani is expansion of Krishna's pleasure potency. She has all the transcendental qualities, but she's attracted by Krishna, therefore she's defeated by Krishna. So Krishna, he also allows himself to be defeated by her. And this goes on in an eternal pastime which is beyond our ability to understand. So somehow, as an extension of that, Lord Chaitanya has come down. It's actually very impossible for us to understand. Still, great devotees like Krishnadas, Kaviraj, Rupa and Sanatan, they're so kind to give some explanation, just so that we can know. But then we should understand that how far removed is Paramatma from Krishna, and what is the position of Radharani. Devotees should be very careful, as I said, worshipping Radha Krishna, even discussing Radha Krishna. Very deep water. You have to be very careful. Then I was trying to explain, and I felt that still that belligerent attitude was there. So therefore I didn't want to get too much deep into any more thick water. So we should understand what is the position of Radharani. She's not a conditioned soul. She doesn't have a super soul, Vishnu in her heart. She's Krishna's non-different energy. You saw the picture of Krishna, they're completely one. But somehow they become two. And we'll never be able to understand until we follow in the footsteps of the pure devotees. All we can understand, all the reason this explained is just to understand this point, that this is the topmost. This is the ultimate summum bonum of life. Not that we can understand by discussing it or by having joint meetings or private discussions. It's not possible. But by, first of all, understanding in a relative way, by our limited intelligence, that actually there's no higher concept than that. It encompasses everything. Now, follow in their footsteps. Follow in the footsteps. Become a pure devotee. Surrender yourself. Give up desire for personal sense gratification. Simply serve the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chant constantly Hare Krishna. Always remember. Then what is guaranteed here if one is always remembering and chanting and serving Radha Krishna, serving the Lord? Then one attains to their direct service in the future. What more can one desire? At that time, then we can understand. Actually, all these details. Actually, even before then, gradually more and more is revealed. Before then, now the discussion is just that one can be convinced that yes, there's nothing more complete understanding of absolute truth than that. This encompasses everything. Now I have to really understand it by realization. We believe in realize. We're not academic. We realize by realization. So that knowledge is there, and the realization of that comes to the practice. So even a sadhana siddhi, even someone who is practicing sadhana, the daily practice of rules and regulations, if he sticks to it, develops this mood, follows in the footsteps of these pure devotees, then he achieves the same success as the eternally liberated soul. So in spite of it being Kali Yuga with so many deficiencies and so many obstacles, by the mercy of Radha and Krishna, they've come down as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us this mercy, to lift us up. Somehow or another, the people that are present here today, they're the most fortunate favorites of Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna, Gokulananda, and their devotees. Somehow or another, they've been brought to the association of devotees with a little endeavor. Just by changing the mental attitude from personal sense gratification to Krishna consciousness. Because Krishna is the summum bonum, he's like the root of everything. When we satisfy him, we automatically become satisfied. So if one just changes his mentality, following in it, developing that mood, and serves with that new mentality, immediately he can feel transcendental bliss. Once he achieves that transcendental bliss, then it's very easy to forget about sense gratification. But without changing our mentality, if we think that we're going to get transcendental, it's very difficult. We can get for a moment, then it goes away. So that is the essential thing now, to change our mentality from one of being an enjoyer, one of being a controller, to one of being a servant, one of being enjoyed by the Lord. That's why Narottam Das Thakur, Vishaya Acharya Kave, Tuchha Have Mon. When will I give up this desire to lord it over, to enjoy? When will I have the desire simply to be enjoyed, to be a servant? Give up this false material position. This can happen very easily by the mercy of Srimati Radharani. She has reached the topmost position. The Lakshmi, Mahalakshmi is performing tapasya to try to achieve the standard of purity and chastity of Srimati Radharani. But she was refused even admittance into the rasa dance. Gauri, she also wants to achieve that highest standard of chastity. What to speak of the consorts of Indra, Vasistha and other greats? They're always hankering, but she's the crest jewel. So take it that her mercy is there embodied in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By her direct, and that mercy has been given down through the through Nitai Gaur, 6 Goswamis, through the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. So somehow we should get that mercy wherever we can, and get the special favor of Srimati Radharani, and go back to home, back to Godhead, wherever they like. We can go in their transcendental service. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gautama Linga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srimati Radharani ki, Sri Radhastami Utsav ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai.